Well, let me welcome you to the conversation segment of the Signature Show this Sunday. My name never changes. It remains Uboh Jokam. Apologize that I wasn't with you last Sunday. A little bit under the weather, but not to worry. We are here this Sunday. I'm going to give a title to this our conversation this Sunday. From Magu to Emefiele. What does that mean? You know, once on this program, I had a conversation with Dr. George Uboh, Nigeria's foremost whistleblower security expert, a gentleman who is committed to improving, he cannot clear it, to improving the corruption fortunes or anti-corruption fortunes of this country. In that first conversation, it was all about what Magu and EFCC were doing to straightforwardness in investigation in this country. Big revelations. All of that ended up with a presidential panel which grilled Magu. And I understand that the report was submitted about 3 weeks ago. We get to have the details of that report and the consequence of those infractions. But this Sunday, we're talking again with Dr. George Uboh. In this case, the depletion of Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve, now listen to this, by as much as 25 billion US dollars. The question is, who done it? Dr. George Uboh, you're welcome this afternoon.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'm a little bit uncomfortable, and I will tell you why I'm uncomfortable. This country today is resource-strapped. This country today is cash-strapped. The present government, I don't envy it because it is struggling to redeem itself. People making demands, not people. Infrastructure making demands, education making demands, health making demands, security making demands. These can only be achieved if the resources are available to any government. Nigerians have been screaming, slash the resources of political office holders because they think that what we have cannot sustain our expense style again. Yet, I hear that somehow the Central Bank of Nigeria has allowed the system to lose as much as 25 billion US dollars. What has happened?
Thank you very much, sir. The report is very clear and convincing, I might add. MTN, the foremost telco company in Nigeria, South African owned, over the years engaged in a systemic, a maze, a web of conspiracy. And I use the word conspiracy because it's not MTN that issues the certificate of importation in question. So when you look at, as an investigator, you look at the nature of crime that involves persons and or organizations, and the way systems and rules and regulations have been flouted, you can use the word conspiracy. It's simple. When you are dealing in foreign currency, certificate of capital importation is what is used, to make sure that Nigeria will get our foreign reserve, foreign currency and everything.
But the certificate of bringing extra amount of dollars into the Nigerian economy.
But in this
as investment.
Yes, but in this case, and the report is quite voluminous. In this case, there has been a long-standing flouting of certificates of capital importation germane to MTN and its bankers, Stanbic IBTC Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, but more so because the Apex Bank, the Central Bank of Nigeria that regulates these banks and has the requisite power to do the needful, did not. And that is where the problem lies. Now,
Okay.
what even pains me more, if you now say, okay, let's say CBN is not aware, which is unlikely. After the report came out,
No, who wrote the report? And report on what?
the report on MTN, this MTN is something that is ongoing. And 2 people were commissioned to do the investigation.
That's from your own organization, or was it a government commission?
I will leave that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But there is a report.
There is a report here. Now, after the report came out, the bill stood over 25 billion, less than 26 billion US dollars. That was when the politicking, the lobbying, the incestuous relationship started. And if you recall, Sahara reporters did a report on this, pressuring the CBN to ensure that MTN and its bankers paid this bill. But nobody knew the actual amount, because Sahara reporters reported that and actually displayed the letters CBN wrote MTN and the banks to pay aggregate of $8.1 billion. I picked up the phone and I called Showore. I said, good reporting. Your report is very good, but that $8 billion is a far cry. That the actual amount is over $25 billion. He said, what? I said, I have the report. Over time, even that $8 billion was not paid. I weep for this country. I hope and pray that the President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, I pray that he musters the willpower to ensure that these monies are paid. Because you are talking over 7 trillion naira. Why are we going to China to borrow money? Why are we having the Chinese government to come and execute projects and pledging our natural resources when the monies are right here? And these same guys involved in this will still travel to China with the president, sit down in China to get loan, knowing fully well what they have done.
George, I'm going to cut in here.
Yes.
It is needful for me, representing the viewer, to get the meat of the story. I'm going to pretend that we're just starting this conversation afresh. What are the details, without telling me who wrote, what are the details of this report? And what are the infractions allegedly committed by, let me now say, the central bank, in the sense that, from what you just said earlier, MTN, IBTC, Standard Chartered don't issue certificates themselves. It is the central bank that issues. What is the full story?
That is why we indicted CBN. That is why the caption, it says, investigative report on alleged depletion of Nigeria external reserve by MTN, Stanbic IBTC Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, in collaboration with CBN officials. In collaboration. It is that which they were supposed to do that they did not do. Because when you look at the certificates of importation, you read the report, you see how they issued irregular, fake certificates. And to answer your question, I mean, the CBN has not come to challenge it, the report. They have actually written, given bill, they have acquiesced to it. So the point is, it is not whether it was committed or not. No.
They have admitted.
They have admitted, yes. This has been, let me not say, maybe the laymen in Nigeria are not aware of it. I'm privileged to certain information, but to a certain degree, people have been hearing about it. We know what has been going on. How the South African mighty, the high and mighty have been lobbying for this money, for this bill to be reduced. So the issue is not the authenticity.
George, I'm not talking about bail. You are being euphemistic by using the word bail. If somebody has received a certificate for importing money he did not import, and therefore claims a value which he doesn't have, it means that the person is defrauding the system. It is not, to my mind, a bail.
Pardon my. I'm trying to be to be a bit liberal with my semantics. But the point is, you hit the nail on the head. It's pure fraud. But again, that is where you don't look into the convoluted nature of this whole thing. The bigger the allegations of fraud in Nigeria, the less likely
they be resolved.
The security agencies.
I was coming to that.
Yes. Because it's not like we have not put this thing to the test.
Because if this finding, CBN is not contesting it, what is the EFCC doing? Because this is a financial crime.
We show you a letter written on my behalf, in fairness. This, after I was irate, of course, when I got this. I wrote to the Whistleblower's Office, Ministry of Finance, last year. This is a letter from the Federal Ministry of Finance to the Federal Ministry of Justice to investigate. This is that submission I made Monday, April 29, 2019. The ministry wrote on 30th May 2019 on this, my submission, asking the Ministry of Finance and of Justice to investigate. We are still waiting. So these are the frustrations we in the civil society go through. We are supposed to be the catalyst, give information to security agencies. Let's say you are not privy to it, no problem. We have the report, we have the evidence we give to you. But the frustration we face, because they may even come and arrest you. So now, this has been given to the Ministry of Justice, nothing happened. We have now written a petition to the House Committee on Public.
That was where I was going, because apart from the ministries, which
Yes.
are the executive arm,
Yes.
there is the representative of the people, which is the National Assembly.
Yes.
Have you made a formal complaint
Yes.
to the National Assembly?
We have written a petition. Of course, the National Assembly, being a co-equal branch of the government, they have the requisite power to investigate as well. So we have been given December 9th for me to show up, and letters have been written to MTN, Stanbic IPTC, Standard Chartered Bank, and CBN, and of course, to me, to appear on the 9th of December. So I hope and pray that the National Assembly, the House Committee, will do justice to the petition. Of course, their power is really limited, but they can come up with a report. Again, apart from this, do the needful. But again, because the National Assembly does not have the power to prosecute, does not have the power to arrest, doesn't even have the power to recover. But in the face of the security agencies not being interested, that is now my second option. But left to me, this is the case, this should be the case of the decade. This should be the case that EFCC should take up, because you are talking 25 billion US dollars. Come on.
George, let me move from the substance to the import. When a person or a company can so comfortably and so easily swindle this country, and our reaction seems to be, well, what can we do? Let the civil society organizations make noise. What is the import of it for the next investor? Will they have confidence, or will they not treat us as where anything goes?
Well, the question begs its own answer. When you have a foreign company who has perpetrated this allegation, this fraud, of course the word will trickle down all over the world. Go to Nigeria, it's an easy prey. Go and do your thing. You can go there and score as many goals as you can. I mean, the what they have done here, they cannot try a fraction of it in their country. Don't forget, as we speak, a South African president is, as we speak, was removed from office, and is standing trial. I have South African channel I watch almost every day. Is standing trial for the state capture allegation. And how much is even involved in the state capture? They go with the Guptas. It's not enough. It's not even up to what a minister puts in his pocket in Nigeria and travels. So it's the system in Nigeria, and that the porosity of the system, the stereotype, has resonated. So foreigners, I mean, this is just one of them. We have oligarchs in Nigeria who are involved in the same certificate of importation racket. I always give you this analogy. You know, Bill Gates went to see Trump the second time he came out. He said, I'm tired of explaining to Donald the difference between HIV and HPV. He insulted, but because he doesn't need Donald Trump to make money. I'm yet to see any Nigerian billionaire that will say that about our president, because they're all villa businessmen. I call them villa businessmen. Because when you have people that are giving waivers, so there is no
They don't
equal
within the rule.
Yeah, no, not even that. They crush you as a business partner, because you are not operating on that equal, you know, the playing field is not even. Or some concession is given. John D. Rockefeller in the 1930s was the first person that was hit with antitrust violation in the US, that is monopoly. Upon all his foundations and philanthropies and everything, when they found that Standard Oil had other oil companies milking, you know, engaged in monopoly, they hit him. In the 1980s, Bill Gates, Microsoft, was hit with antitrust law, and I think as we speak, either Google or Facebook, Google is facing it too. So when you have a country where some products, you have people that enjoy monopoly or duopoly or oligarchy, and these people enjoy concessions that are humongous, that are from out of this world, and anybody who dares to venture into the same business is crushed. One thing I love about American system, when I was in US, about free enterprise, where the small businesses, the venture capitalists, people like Warren Buffett can hold a workshop. If you have any idea, they give you as a venture capitalist to bring up new ideas. A Nigerian company was just bought for over $300 million, if I'm not mistaken, right? By, say, Google or whatever. That is what I'm talking about. So we live in a country where it's not just about corruption. Is this psyche that when you get to a certain stratosphere, nobody can talk to you. You can break any law. We have other we have other cases, some Indian companies in the oil industry regarding FIRS, that even our own Nigerians working at FIRS would cook books for them, understate their revenue,
and therefore their
and
tax,
overstate their expenses. That is.
George will come to that. But let me ask you, just to conclude this conversation, let me ask you, is the establishment, the Nigerian establishment, whom you deal with, for whom you blow the whistle, are they aware?
Against whom I blow the whistle?
That's it.
Yes.
Against whom? Then my question is as good as dead on arrival, because if you blow the whistle against them, I was going to ask you, are they conscious of the huge nature of this challenge?
You see, Hillary Clinton in 2012, Secretary of State, if I can recall a statement she made at a summit, she said any democracy rests on a three-legged
Tripod.
On a tripod. A vibrant government, a job-creating private sector, and a robust civil society ready, willing, and able to call the government to account. Do not try to gag the civil society, but that is what happens here. We in the civil society, in that space, we're supposed to give the executive, the information, the requisite information, and that is why, to a certain degree, I keep saying it and I'll sing it till I die, that the biggest thing that ever happened in the civil society is the whistleblower policy. I never thought in my life, when I was blowing the whistle against EFCC in 2013 and all that, I never thought I would wake up one day, as I did on December 15, 2016, when the federal government announced the whistleblower policy. That is willpower on the part of Buhari. We have to give him that kudos. But the fact that his cabinet members have not been able to sustain it, have not been able to come up with the whistleblower policy to protect whistleblowers. And when, because of that loophole, whistleblowers are being arrested because there's no protection. But you can't blame Buhari squarely for that. That is why you need to assemble, you need to assemble, put the square pegs in square holes. Why I love Reagan today is because Reagan, apart from having the willpower, had a robust cabinet. I mean, he was an actor. People even questioned his ability. He wasn't a lawyer, anything. He was an actor. But when he went to Berlin and looked Gorbachev in the eye and said, Gorbachev, tear down this wall. That is willpower. So once you have that willpower to when you raise that cutlass and say, I want to do this, you should have people that will now follow suit. We don't have it.
We don't have it.
Yes.
There is a minister responsible to respond to this matter. There are agencies under that minister responsible to respond to this situation. Have they delivered on your expectation?
Are you talking on this particular issue?
Yes, this
issue.
This
letter, it's not hidden. I can make it available. It's written to my good friend Malami, Attorney General San. I've had my issues with him. It is quite appalling, to say the least, that I wrote an open letter to the president on I went to UK, I flew with her on May 9th, 2016, on my way to UK for the anti-corruption summit. Everything I said in that letter, I'll make it available to you. It says what had started happening, because that was about a year into Buhari's presidency, the first one anyway, before the second one. I used a phrase there in talking about the monumental corruption cases I have uncovered in Nigeria, and why it hurts me that after killing these elephants, we are going to China looking for ants. That is the phrase I used. Because I still don't understand why anybody in office, when you see a case of $25+ billion, why that person shouldn't have let anything else go and pursue that? Because if I'm in that position, I know that I do this is what is going to make, it's not really, I always say, it's not how long you hold a position. It is what you do with that position. I still beat my chest to say that I was engaged by the federal government to trace stolen funds trapped in financial institutions for 27 days. In 27 days, I traced over 500 billion, aggregate in all currencies. When the federal government in 1 year did 117 billion, I mentioned that on Channels TV, that earned me 17-day detention at DSS. But the point is, it was a good detention because the gentleman, Lawa Dara, apologized, and we are okay today. I don't mind a little, rough by now and then, but we are guys. After you rough me up, when he saw that after I wrote my statement, and he saw that. In fact, I met him on February 11, 2017, to bring the funds I traced, the funds, the currencies, everything. And on February 18, 2017, on another Saturday, this following Saturday, he sent for me. He said, "Doctor, when I saw your tape saying you perform more than the federal government," I said, "Who is this person bragging?" I better lock him up. He said, "But after seeing account numbers, banks, currencies, different countries,
amounts there."
Yes, and your figures are correct. I said, "It may interest you, sir, to know that the first person I went after is my own sister, Cecilia Ibru. I'm from Delta State, she's from Delta State." I said, look at it, look at the data that was traced. I asked Attorney General here. I flew to UK because in her plea agreement with the federal government, she pled to forfeit all Oceanic Bank access to the federal government, but Oceanic Bank UK was transferred to another company owned by herself and her son. So I went to do that. And the reason why my brother did is because when I went after Lamonde EFCC, they said I'm from Delta, going after an Adamawa man. Now I'm going after Emefiele, they said I'm from Agbo, going after an Agbo man. So, in Nigeria, there is nothing you do that will not earn you a bad name. That is the biggest thing now, that why is an Agbo man fighting an Agbo man? And until we grow beyond the ethnic sentiment, we are not going to get anywhere.
Okay, George. In the past 30 minutes or thereabout, I've been conversing with Dr. George Uboh. We've been looking at how Nigeria's foreign reserve has been depleted by over $25 billion, and how funds purportedly imported in this country and therefore values brought in were not indeed brought in. Meanwhile, those who faked the importation are reaping from that faking. Can't you see that my jaws are hanging? I hope that we'll be able to get ourselves out of this mess. George, this is still morning of the fight. I hope by evening we'll have won victory.
We always do. You recall the EFCC matter and other matters. See, when you have the evidence, no matter how they knock you, no matter the accusations, no matter the arrest or harassment, evidence is evidence. This evidence I have, and the fact that a letter has been written to the Ministry of Justice with my name on it. So the locus is overwhelming. And I will show you afterwards. That is it here. See. George Uboh, whistleblower, had written to my office. So my name being on this matter gives me the locus to fight this matter with my last breath. In fact, this is a lot bigger than the EFCC file, because we are talking 2 trillion and 1.993 trillion. This is 25 billion, over 7 trillion naira. I'm going to be on every platform, locally and globally, discussing this, because there has never been any contrary report. MTN has never come to say they don't owe the money. CBN has never come to say they don't owe the money. This is an ongoing thing. So for me not to, I don't know how to phrase it. If my name were not even on it, I would fight the matter. So my name being on this and a letter having been written to my friend Attorney General to investigate, oh my God. we will do what is needful in this country, because this money, we cannot let it go.
Thank you very much, George. This conversation continues. It never ends. It continues next Sunday. Can I wish you a joyous Sunday? My name remains Uboh-CORRUPTION-Nigeria. Good afternoon.